G'day mate, welcome back to Factorio with me, Jenny. We're back in our definitive guide. This is episode number 24. We're going to be doing something important this episode. We're going to be covering the other half of uranium. We covered mining, we covered how to hook up our acid, we covered how to, get the resources out of the ground, get it into a train loading station, get it back to base, get the fluid, the sulfuric acid over there, all that sort of stuff. Today, we're going to start processing it. But with that said, let's run the intro. So, with that over and done with, today we're going to start playing with radioactive fuel. Okay, so there's a couple of things that we're going to have to cover. Two of those? I think I need two of those, plus I need one of those. And of course we're going to want a nuclear reactor. Yeah, so, nope, turns out we only need one of those. Okay, so first off, we're going to take in our uranium ore. We're going to process it. Okay, 10 uranium ore is going to come out as uranium-238, shall now forever be referred to as dull rocks, and has a 0.7% chance of becoming uranium-235, shall now forever be called shiny rocks. Okay, dull rocks, shiny rocks. You can sort of tell where the two names come from. Okay, we want the shiny ones. The shiny ones, the important ones, the dull ones, they're like excess, nuclear waste, not that important. We just finished the research for uranium ammo, which is basically a sink for dull rocks, honestly. As you can see, there's a 99.3% chance of getting a dull rock with only a 0.7% chance of getting a shiny rock. You can tell that shiny rocks are hard to come by, and the reason they're hard to come by is they're the ones that actually go in and make your uranium fuel cells. Okay, which cost 10 iron, cost 1 uranium-235, the shiny one, 19 uranium-238, the dull ones, and produce nuclear fuel. They actually produce 10 nuclear fuel. And your nuclear fuel goes into a nuclear reactor. Now, nuclear reactors are slightly different from our boilers that we've been using in the past. Boilers we've been using in the past, as you can see, this one's using 30.2 water per second out of 60, so it's running at about half speed, which means it's consuming the fuel at about half speed. The catch is our nuclear reactors consume fuel at full speed. There is no tuning up and down. They burn that fuel constantly. But one uranium fuel cell lasts 200 seconds. And each shiny rock can turn into 10 uranium fuel cells. 10 uranium fuel cells last 200 seconds. 200 seconds is enough time that you should have, if this machine is constantly processing uranium, it should have found an extra uranium-235 to keep the process going. So it's a really harmonious process. This, with just uranium coming into here, get rid of the dull rocks, put them into a mass storage system somewhere, process them into fuel cells go into your reactors, you should be fine. In saying that, we did cover it earlier, and I'm actually, all my productivity modules have gone. Really? Roboport please, Roboport please, Roboport please. Zoom out, find a Roboport. Right there. If I had productivity... Oh, that's the end of the range. Put that there. Hey, they're being delivered ever so slowly. So if I had two productivity modules in here, okay, two productivity modules, the level 1 ones, the hopeless ones, would give me an extra 4% productivity. Two of them would give me 8% productivity. It does slow the crafting down ever so slightly, but we've got to remember this takes 10 seconds to craft. To give you 200 seconds worth of fuel, it doesn't really matter that it runs. There we go. It runs a little bit slower because it's only going to run once every 200 seconds. But it does mean when it completes a cycle, and it completes enough cycles that it runs through the productivity cycle, you're going to get out a whole cycle for free, which is going to keep your nuclear reactors running for longer for free. Therefore, it's not really an issue. So, basic thing I'm trying to tell you is a lot of people actually rush for an alternate recipe before they start running nuclear fuel, which is this one here, which, as you can see, takes in 40 of the shiny rocks plus 5 of the dull rocks, takes 60 seconds to craft, and outputs 41 shiny rocks and 2 dull rocks. It basically enriches your uranium slowly for you. Okay, lots of people rush this recipe before they worry about getting nuclear reactors on. We might do the same. We'll see. We'll see how lucky we are when we start processing this stuff, which is exactly what we're going to do now. So, processing it. Okay. It's been about 10 minutes in real time, but in that time, the game might have been running at 4 times speed, because I want to have a big, heavy buffer in here so we could get things running as fast as possible. But we've combined everything into a 4x4 lane balancer. I then want to put in our kovarex process. I want to have 2 inserters there, 2 inserters there, 2 there, 2 there, put down another one of those. We're going to have you run fuel, or we're going to have you process the uranium. We're going to put in a power pole, a power pole, power pole, power pole. Obviously you need power for output. And we're going to run this through. Okay? And we're going to start processing our uranium. At the same time, I'm going to put productivity modules in here, because each time this does a full process, okay, we're going to have 4 plus 4 productivity, so therefore 8% extra productivity. So after, how many crafts is that? I don't know. Editor you put the maths up on the screen. So after however many crafts that is, it's going to have a chance of outputting a free cycle of resources. Okay, well, it will put out a free cycle of resources. There is a chance, slim chance, a very, very, very slim chance, but there is a chance, and with enough machines and enough processors, the chance adds up. We are going to output a free shiny rock or many, many free dull rocks. I don't mind. I don't mind if they're shiny. I don't mind if they're dull. I just want freebies. I like freebies. It is going to mean we're going to use a lot of extra power in this system, because I'm filling it with productivity modules. Okay, in fact, we're going to take that build. I'm going to flip it. We're going to take... Oh, really? Fine, be like that. We're going to take that belt. I'm going to run it around that side. And before I forget, we're going to do 2 things. We're going to set up a requester chest right here with a normal inserter, and we're going to bring in any excess uranium that might end up in the network because I deconstructed something. At the same time, we have a train that already ran out of fuel once the coal or wood or whatever I threw in it originally ran out. So we're going to set up a refueling for this one. And remember how we set up that rocket fuel earlier? Which is in the network, so bots can fly it around the base. We're going to bring nuclear fuel, rocket fuel, and we're going to put it in this train because it has a vehicle acceleration bonus of 180%. And trains really, really, really benefit from having an acceleration bonus. Really benefit. Every single time they go stop for a station, stop for an intersection, anything like that, getting them back up to full speed is a real big bonus. So as soon as you have the opportunity to upgrade fuel to your trains, either by swapping over all your belts or by putting down a request chest and an inserter, go for it. Speaking of that, we're going to deconstruct that, deconstruct that, deconstruct that, deconstruct that, and that, and that, and that. Put that back in there. And then I'm going to have all these trains also get delivered with rocket fuel. Not nuclear fuel. Not yet. Not yet. So, can I have that power pole on that side, please? We're going to copy and we're going to paste that there. We're going to copy and paste that. Oop, that was off by a tile. There, and there, and there. And copy and paste the whole thing and put it here. Run that belt through. Run that belt through. This is why I set up recycling, because I always end up with some stuff that I just dump back in the network and hope for the best. We will copy that, put that there, put that there. Okay, extend that belt, extend that belt, extend that belt, and extend that belt. Okay, so I put down a whole heap of centrifuges. They all have productivity modules. In fact, if I click on my power network, we can see that our 38, 39, 40, 41. Our 41 centrifuges are using almost as much power as our 500 assembly machine 2s. One, because they tend to be a little bit more power hungry. These guys use 362 kilowatts at max consumption compared to 155. But on top of that, after we put in the modules, their power usage goes up by 80%. So they get a little bit power greedy, but that's fine. Okay, so first off, we're going to have all these make all the shiny and dull rocks. Have I been lucky? Got any any shiny rocks? Not so far. It's a chance thing. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. Okay, next thing I want to do is I want to combine the 2 belts of rocks together. Is that enough of them? You know what? We're going to put this over here, just in case it's not enough centrifuges. Basically, by the time you get up to nuclear, I like running these builds, making these builds and running these builds about as big and about as fast as I can. There's a shiny rock. You've had no shiny rocks yet. Okay, next thing I want to do is I want to filter out my dull rocks. I want to filter my dull rocks. I want to take them in a different direction. In fact, can I just get some yellow belt, please? None of this has to be red belt. Alright, I'm going to take my rocks. We're going to clear off the other belt. Again, I need to set up recycling because I will accidentally end up picking up these things. And I'd love it if I could throw them back in the network and the robots just deal with them. I'm going to put those there. We're going to put the shiny rocks beside them just in case I grab a shiny rock and it goes in the network as well. And we're going to kick them out there. Okay, next thing I need to do is, as we can see, we have lots of dull rocks. I need somewhere to store them because I want to be able to make sure that the shiny rocks get to this point of the splitter and we can kick them out in that direction. So we're going to use a substation. Main reason is they provide a very, very large area of effect for power, which is going to need a large power pole, a large power pole, a large power pole. Probably didn't need that many power poles, but you know, the point is made. And then we're going to use a lot of inserters for everywhere except you two. Then I'm going to use a lot of steel chests. And we're just going to store them like that. Except that's not good enough. I would really like to have some serious amounts of storage. No, we can keep going. We can keep going. Alright. Do we put power? No, we didn't put power under the belt. Okay. We're going to stop right about there. And then right about there, I'm going to have it all get kicked back out. So, massive storage. Like, over the top massive storage. How you guys going? All those chests still look full. How are all the chests at the other end? I don't know if they're filling up or empty. Okay, so the top chest has 2k in it. We're going to come back and check on that a little bit, because I have a feeling I need to double length this. So, we're going to put them all through storage. We're going to have lots and lots of chests full of lots and lots of dull rocks. Okay, problem solved, problem done. Don't have to worry about this anymore. That's going to take a long time to fill up. These guys stack in. Do any of you have a decent stackage? No. These guys stack in 100. Each chest is 4.8 thousand. There is that many chests. You guys could do the maths at home. That's a lot of storage for dull rocks. Okay, a lot of storage. Yes, technically I've gone from 2 sides of the belt down to 1 side of the belt because inserter magic. Do I care? Nope. Alright, so that's stage 1 done. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shiny rocks, 9 shiny rocks, 10 shiny rocks. That trainer can't unload fast enough. Can I get there to there, please? And we're just going to drop that quietly on the end. Roboport? Roboport. You know what? It looks silly like that. That looks a bit better. Yeah. Yeah. All in. All in. Okay, so We've got our dull rock storage. We've got our shiny rocks on a belt. Two things I need to do. One, I do need to do fuel cells if we want to go nuclear fuel. The other thing I need to do is I need to do the kovarex enrichment process. So I'm all out of those. Okay, we're going to go for a quick drop back to base. Actually, at the same time, I should cover a couple of things. So I turned on this assembly machine by, pasting down the magic workshop blueprint. This one. I still don't know why that has an E on it. Engineering? Maybe that needs an update. But yes, I put down the production science blueprint because that enables Beacon Mark III. Oh, no, beacons. It also enables, which I'm pretty sure I turned on. I hope I turned on. I didn't. It also enables assembler Mark IIIs. Technically, it also enables blue belt. I'm not getting a blue belt right. Actually, blue belt's all about iron. Yeah, let's turn on this as well. So, this is one of the reasons we've had lube for such a long time. Well, one of the biggest uses of lube is express transport belt, which moves 45 items per second. So we went from 15 items per second up to 30 items per second up to 45 items per second. Unfortunately, this is going to decimate our iron, but at the moment, our iron's not really doing much. Actually, side note, we could do with a red belt of gears by now. As we've started upgrading other parts of the bus, this should have gone red belt probably a long time ago. Which means your input has to be red belt, your input has to be red belt, you have 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 to be red belt, and you have to be twice as long. Some idiot put a robot port in the way. It's fine, we'll just come to there. In fact, we'll just come to there. Hopefully that's enough. Otherwise, we'll do a jump, skip, and a hop over the robot port, and we'll keep the build going. All right. So, back to the problem at hand. We've started making these. We've also started making beacons, and we've just started making the assembly machine Mark III, which I probably should have covered whilst we were staring at them, because they're the ones I want to use to make nuclear fuel cells. And we'll do a quick beacon demonstration at the same time. So, beacons transmits the effective modules to nearby friendly entities. There we go. Yeah, I don't think you want to transmit anything to enemies. Anyway, apart from friendship bellets, you can transmit them to the biters. Yep. Okay, so beacons. You can pop them down here. As you can see, it has this yellow area of effect. And as you can see by the white outline on these two assemblers, it affects both those assemblers. This guy has two productivity modules in there, giving it a minus 15% speed twice. Okay, this guy, same story, minus 15% speed twice. Our speed modules have a speed of plus 30%. So if I could put a speed module in this machine, it would instantly negate that 30% speed debuff by buffing it back out. What a beacon does is it has two slots where we can put two modules, and it has an area of effect it has an area distribution efficiency of 0.5. So it means whatever I put in here, only half of it gets passed on to local buildings. But as you can see, I can affect multiple buildings with one or two modules. So if I was to put in efficiency modules, which is the dumbest thing ever, never do it, but we'll cover it for the sake of covering it. They have an energy consumption of minus 30%. So my energy consumption went from, that's a non-beacon machine, plus 80% because of the modules in there, down to minus 30%. So I saved, what's that? 50 kilowatts for the cost of 480 kilowatts. Yeah, that one beacon by itself is using 480 kilowatts. But I saved 50 twice. Yeah, so not worth it. But if I was to put two speed modules in here, we can see that the negated speed that these guys had, their crafting speed, went from 5.525 because of the minus 30% debuff, all the way back to 0.75, magically and instantly with the cost of a beacon. It also meant their power went from plus 80% to plus 140%, so you have been warned you're going to start screaming through power when you start playing with modules and beacons and all that sort of stuff. But I've negated my speed negatives by having modules in these guys, which is what we're about to get to, because I would like these guys to actually get upgraded to the next tier of modules. So the tier 2 productivity modules, which are here, which have a productivity of 6%. Not a big increase, but it is an increase. That first one is a massive bonus. The second one, still significant, but as you can see, the speed doesn't change. So it's still a minus 15%. But what I can do is if I put an underground in there, and a beacon in there, and put my speed modules in there, it's affecting this machine, this off one single beacon, and it has removed the speed debuff from all of them. And luckily enough, this is a fairly repeatable build that I can go through very quickly and upgrade and grab my ghosted beacon and run through the build and have all of these guys go significantly faster. Okay, can we just extend that out? Because I don't want to back up with shiny rocks. That's the last thing I'd want. Also want one here on the outside. Oh! We've now got 2 of them. So this one's now has a 30% from this beacon plus a 30% from this beacon. So this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy all have a crafting speed of 1.3. And it continues along. Okay, so we can start getting a lot more speed and a lot more processing out of all of our centrifuges. Rather than adding more machines, we can slow them down and then we can speed them back up using beacons and modules. Same story on this side. If we just grab a red underground and go through here. Now I can do this with yellow underground. It doesn't have to be red. All these gaps are the right distance that you can do it with yellow or red. And I paste these guys in. We should be golden. You can get out of the way. You go there, and you go there. And turns out you can go on that side instead, because that comes with power. So we can speed up the whole process. We can get a whole lot more uranium processed. 1.4k, and the top chest had 2k in it. It has 1.1k. So we are slowly draining this. So we're definitely processing it fast enough. We have just added more speed. We can process it even faster. At the same time, I did want to say I want to upgrade those modules. So I want to upgrade from a productivity 1 to a productivity 2. I want to grab that upgrade planner, and we're just going to drag it over. Oh, that also downgrades power balls. Can I not downgrade power balls, please? That's a leftover relic. And it's going to upgrade the 3 belt that it magically sees. Okay, so we're going to mark those to get upgraded. I did go and automate them a little while ago. Here we have products finished, 39. So not many are finished. It will take them a little while. That's perfectly fine. We'll get it up and running. The other thing is, it means after I have my speed modules and my beacons and everything else, if this build can't keep up, it means I have 2 choices. Either I go find another patch of uranium and I start mining a second patch of uranium. My other option is I can just deconstruct part of this build, strip it back, make it smaller, so it runs with like 1 train running flat out. Okay? So, with that out of the way, I wanted to cover kovarex. Kovarex process. Oh, that's right. I went over to get those and I forgot. I never, ever, 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 ever get sidetracked. Ever. Kovarex. Oh, and tier 3 assemblers. Tier 3 assemblers compared to a tier 2 assembler. 2 important things. This guy had a crafting speed of 0.75. This guy has a crafting speed of 1.25. Also uses a bit more power. We don't really care too much about a bit more power. If we tell you to craft, I don't know, gears. You could both do gears. You had 2 module slots. You have 4 module slots. Okay. If we tell you and you to make nuclear fuel, and I put productivity modules in both of them, you have a productivity of plus 8%. You, sir, have a productivity of plus 16%, and that's with the level 1 modules. If I was to use the level 2 modules, which have 6% each, that'd be 6, 12, 24%. So it's like a 25%. It's a 1 in 4 crafts, 4 crafts complete. I get a whole 5th craft for free. That really starts to add up. Okay. So we're going to do centrifuges really quickly. I'm going to do a kovarex process. I want to have shiny rocks in, dull rocks, well, shiny rocks in, shiny rocks out. Plus I want to have dull rocks in, dull rocks out. And there's many, many, many different ways to do this. I want to show you the simplest way to do this, all on belts. Funnily enough, I actually recorded this prior to 1.0 coming out. And then we had a major graphical update with Factorio. Consequently, hang on, what? I gotta think and not try and talk at the same time. Yes. Okay. Consequently, the video never got published because the graphics update was quite significant. So I put the video in the back burner and haven't got around to re-recording it since. Maybe it's done by the time this episode goes out. I doubt it. But maybe it has. Maybe it has. Okay, so I have a kovarex process, which keeps flashing at me because it needs power. Substation. Cool, that makes all the power flashy go away. Speaking of that, why don't I request those? Because I haven't turned it on. Thank you. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to have you being a filter stack inserter. So it's like a normal stack inserter, except rather than having 5 choices, I have 1 choice. And I just want you to do shiny rocks. Okay, I want to have you put shiny rocks, and because the way inserters work, on the top side of the belt. So it's going to put shiny rocks on the top side of the belt. This guy here is going to take shiny rocks, preferably off the bottom side of the belt, but if there aren't any, he will take them off the top side of the belt, okay? And then we want to do the exact reverse down here. I want you to take out the dull rocks. I want that belt to go in that direction. So you're going to put the dull rocks on the far side of the bottom belt, and then this guy is going to pick up the dull rocks from the close side of the bottom belt, okay? You with me so far? And that's basically how this process is going to work. It will require a power pole there and there. And it's very, very tight, very, very compact. But the idea is that if I've done this correctly... there, we can set up a loop for our shiny and dull rocks. We'll dump those back into that machine so it gets spat back out again. So they can get picked up, fed into the machine. Okay? Then they're going to go for a big long drive out to the wilderness. They're going to loop back up. I don't think I have enough room. Nope. Holy crap, we've already got 43. We're ready to actually run this process. Okay. In that case, cut. Paste. Okay. They're going to go for a little bit of a wander. And then they kind of come back around. And then... they're going to go back into the build. Okay, let's just start with... oh, no, actually, let's feed them on. We'll feed all 43 into one machine. So you can spit them out. We can see this in progress. So... no. No. Cut. Let's start the process right here. Nice and close. Okay, so shiny rocks come back here for the 3rd time. Get put on this belt. Spat out of the system, okay? They're going to go join the massive belt of goodness, okay? They're going to go around. They're going to keep looping around. They're going to feed into this machine, okay? This machine is going to have 47 in it. It's ready to go. It's primed, okay? It only needs 40 to run. Now we need dull rocks. Dull rocks are going to come down here, down here, down here. They're also going to go for a little bit loop around the map. We want to do a zig to your zag. We want to bring this down and tag that in like that. I think that'll work. I gotta see this be built every time and actually populated to get my head around how it works, because it's there's lots of ways to do kovarex. I've seen lots and lots of people do it with different like wire conditions and combinator conditions and all sorts of silly crap. I do it purely with belts, okay? Because we're side loading the belts, we can manipulate where items go on the belts, which is one of the things we're doing. At the same time, I want to try and confirm that I can run this process basically forever. Oh, that's another thing for you. When it comes to the kovarex process, you can put productivity modules in there, okay? And it means when it completes its free process, you actually just get one extra shiny rock magically come out, okay? Honestly, if you've got them, put speed modules in there. Give me a speed module. Okay, because it's just going to make it run a little bit faster. It's running at 60% normal speed. Well, 160% normal speed. We've just hit the power threshold, so that's a separate problem. Means I need to blueprint down some power or set up nuclear, which is probably going to be next episode. So, it's going to output the stuff onto the top belt. See? Magic. This guy's going to pick up the stuff from the top belt. See? Magic. It's going to put it back in the machine. It's going to run again. At the same time, we kicked out these dull rocks. Okay? We're going to remember when the process completes, it kicks out 2 dull rocks. Those dull rocks are going to come down here. They're going to get pushed into this belt first, which is going to keep this belt revolving. You can see this belt is not stopping. It's going all the time until it finally gets enough material in here. It backs up, the belt stops moving, it is full, it is compressed, it is happy, and more importantly, it stops using CPU cycles. Okay, that's very important. This is why this system works. It stops using CPU cycles, this belt is no longer moving, everything's stationary on it, until we kick out our 2 extra shiny rock, 2 extra dull rocks, and then we pick up our 5 extra dull rocks, and the belt starts moving again. Okay, see where we're going with this? So, we do have this guy up and running. He's doing happy. He's doing great. You know what? He would probably do better if we threw some speed beacons at him. And again, this is why the build is the way the build is. I might have put it too far to the left. Actually, if we just line these guys up. Can you finish your process, please? Thank you. This beacon covers to this tile. So I want to cut that. And I want to put it, as you can see, the beacons are going to blue square around them if they're under the area of effect. I want to put it right there. So that way it has a maximum coverage from the beacons. There's a power pole goes there and a power pole goes there. And if we reload it manually, it now has a speed of 120%. Come on, 180%. Can we get some more speed modules? Do we have more speed? Oh, we do have more speed modules. They're on their way. They're on their way. They're recharging up there. Low power, low power. It's fine. We're going to ignore it. 370%. 400%. 300%. It's running at 4 times normal speed. And this is going to keep running for quite some time. Keep refeeding itself over and over and over until we're in a position where we have enough shiny rocks that we can actually run a second one. And we just blueprint it down. And then magic does happen. So to tidy this up, that goes into there. That belt goes there instead. It can be tied around those beacons. This belt we now know goes there, tied around those beacons. It needs a zig to the zag. I do recommend having a decent length of belt buffer here. Same will apply to the shiny rocks when we get that far. All that stuff can go away. As you can see, I did dump some extra ones on the inside. It honestly doesn't matter because the system sorts itself out. We can even dump those in there. This buffer is slowly filling, but the more kovarex processes we have up and running, they are going to get rid of the dull rocks slowly over time. So I want to bring that buffer out to there so it's a little bit longer because this is your buffered material, okay? And then finally, when you're done, you can put a splitter in here. You say output priority left. Just force everything left. Shining rock. Back in there. So if it's forcing everything to the left, which is what we want, it means that whatever comes out this belt is spare, which won't happen until this whole inside belt is full. Okay, so once this is full, once this is continuously processing over and over and over and over, and we can support 5 or 6 machines here with however many beacons, however many modules, it's going to go flat out. That's the point where we can then finally go, okay, we can now take out the spares to do other things with. At the same time, I do need to do nuclear fuel, which is something we're going to get done in the next episode, because we're definitely at a bit of a power crisis. It's going to get way worse whenever lasers turn on. So with that said, I'm going to end today's episode here. Next episode, we're going to start building some nuclear power to hopefully solve our power problems. But yes, like I said, with all said, I'm done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you're enjoying. I do hope you learned something from this video. At the same time, if you want to grab my blueprints for this, well, actually, there is a save for this map down in the description below. There has been a save for every single episode, so if you're curious how I did something, you want to look at it for yourself, you can always go and grab a save. At the same time, like I said, if you're curious about anything, you want to grab blueprints for like my nuclear build. As soon as I've got the nuclear build nuclear build video published, you can grab them on the Discord server. There's a sticky message in the welcome channel. You can grab all my blueprints there. At the same time, Discord is where we organize all sorts of things, from crazy events we're doing, crazy events we're planning on doing, crazy events we have done, and future planning for the next dumb idea that our community can participate in, because yeah, look, it's called a madhouse for a reason. Join Discord and you can find out all about it. Anyway, with all that said, that's where, like I said, where I'm going to end today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you're enjoying. We are having a ball of fun. We're definitely processing all the uranium ore and then some, so this build's probably too big, but that's perfectly fine. We have got kovarex up and running, so we're going to even scale this down now, and they're all things we'll look at in the next episode. So with that said, I'm done. I'll see you in the next one.